Greetings and salutations. This is Jason Silverain. I'm returning to Heroes of Seasons. Now, granted, I got quite frustrated with this last time, and I think after playing through normal a few more times, I can boil down what really kind of needs a bit of tweaking in terms of balance, and just to avoid the feeling of tedium and frustration. And that's just the fact of last time I was trying a different build with characters I didn't know, so that was always going to be a bit risky. And honestly, once you've got a party that sort of works, the game isn't nearly as frustrating, but there's still these elements to consider. First of all, difficulty comes from just the enemies having far more, well, people than you, and also their sheer amount of hit points. And honestly, it's tedious. If there was 4 characters, maybe a bit better. If you had more access to multi-hitting moves or did more damage, maybe that'd be better, but I'm going to move into that point in another one. It's just a case of the whole thing's a grindy slog, which is not great for something that's supposed to be a fast boss rusher. The next one is, again, as I've just said, you don't feel like you do enough damage. You don't gain XP fast enough, so you're always on the back foot. Equipment doesn't do enough stat boosting, and you can have the equipment right from the start and still feel pathetically weak compared to the enemies. You just simply don't do enough damage even with the nukers, and it just gets worse just through a run, because they keep getting more health and more abilities, whereas you are stuck doing the same moves over and over and over again because the leveling progression is too slow, moves you don't get till too late, and this also ties into the fact that a lot of moves have also a turn cooldown on them, which makes it even more tedious. Either give certain moves a turn cooldown or give them SP costs. Don't give them both, because again, that's just limiting the player for no good reason. And again, there's not enough moves a character has to really be denying them access to a move for 4 or 5 turns, or 6 turns, or 10 turns, depending on the character. Now, I think the 10 turns is probably an exaggeration, but it feels like that, because it's just pointless. And also, you start finding that certain bits of equipment are absolute necessities, like the one that is essentially a focus sash. Because, frankly, I'm getting really sick. Sorry, camera's deciding to have a wander around there. Yes, I'm getting really sick of bosses on the first turn having like 2 or 3 attacks, hitting everybody, or focusing on a single character repeatedly with really powerful moves, and just killing them from full health, or even killing them from full health with their shields up and all the bonuses you can add onto them. So, again, this is irritating. It's not a challenge. It's just unfair, unbalanced mechanics. Item-wise, items are dirt cheap, but also there's not enough variation of them. The XP boosting, accessories, garbage, absolute garbage. They should be doing at least treble the amount of XP boosting to be worth anything, because there's not much difference between 1 level and 2 levels. So they're just worthless. Not worth it. What else? Yes, a few more, as I was saying, when I mean variations of the usable items, by the way, not the attacking ones. The attacking ones are garbage. They don't do enough damage. They are absolute trash. There is no point to them. No, what we want is things like the equivalent of like lucky dice, or things like that. I was just thinking about this, like just a basic revive, a basic heal that doesn't cost. They're all dirt cheap, but you only have a set limit. If you had a few items that there is no upper cap on how many you can hold, that would be nice. But they're really weak in comparison. They're much weaker in terms of how many party members are affected. So maybe they'll only use 1 person. Maybe it only raises them. Maybe it raises them at half health. Something like that. Rather than me having to use like one of my 10 heals the party member, affects the whole party ones. I know it's a bit silly, because considering how cheap the items are, you probably could just spend them all day. But it's the mentality of the thing. A lot of players are coming from games where you only use items in an emergency. You don't use items as a standard. I'm just going to make sure my party's equipped. This is the sort of team that I've been playing with. Oh god, it unequipped everything, didn't it? Okay, so equipment-wise, well, it's kept their main weapons. I believe this is the way it was supposed to be round. Christmas armor. Yeah, I think so. I honestly can't remember if it's supposed to be this way. Give me one moment. I always got to double check on the stats. Who's strong against arcane, weak against physical. Yeah, so you've equipped the wrong armor there, mate. So you should be wearing the Christmas armor. You should be wearing the priest armor. That's a mistake I think I made last time. Okay. Next thing we want is you're going to have the gift card, because I just need money at this point. First things first, we want the jumpy boots. Then I think we want a party horn for you, because you're a bit squishy, and a candlelight. Meanwhile, you get the Crown of Holidays, just to keep away those horrible status ailments. You also get the blonde doll. If you're going to keep the accessories this week, let's equip 8 of them. Anyway, candlelight. The regen isn't really that much, but it does help. Okay, Crown of Holidays again. Party horn. No, actually, I think I can't remember if I ditched the party horn on this guy or not for a candlelight. I think I did. I mean, the max HP will help at the start. I'll trade it out later. And, oh yes, equipment-wise, Iron Dagger. I went for one that gave him slightly more defense. Either that was going to be the one that gave him crit rate. Poison's not worth it in this game. It's utterly pointless. This one's also handy. We want more MP regen. Though, all this MP regen's a bit useless, because the characters don't have enough moves. They just have maybe one move that's super, expensive. And Peter only gets one expensive move that's not that useful, if I'm honest. It puts 3 random enemies asleep, but considering enemies who are asleep wake up if they get hit, then, well, doesn't help. Challenging. Shields, counterattack, reflect, and disables in their arsenal. Which needs more XP. Is this now telling me that XP bonuses won't be useful? I'll try it out. Yeah, for some reason the beginning shop doesn't have food and accessories and things. Well, it has accessories. It doesn't have food and items, so there's nothing I need to collect really. Proceed to battle. I'm admittedly not looking forward to this. I've just finished playing normal mode twice in a row, so I'm already like, oh, more to go, but it's all fine. I want to see if there's new enemies. Okay, this is one. I like the change in music. That's a refreshment. I just wish there was actually some consistent theme with the enemies. There just seems to be a random collection of nonsense with no real, themage. It should be like each boss sort of has a theme of typings in terms of like their designs, because this just seems to be very random and doesn't make sense why they're attacking. But wow, that was 74 damage. So I've got 1 HP left on that shield. Ugh. At least I feel like I'm doing damage in this first fight. I'm not expecting to win this mode, actually, considering how unbalanced I found normal mode, so... And it's not like we can really inspect the enemies and things like that, so... If they've got any nasty surprises, well, not much we can do about it. But the reason I picked these characters are for essentially fast, high crit rate, multi-hitting basic move, and I think I mentioned before, multi-hitting on a single character is far superior to multi-hitting everybody, because of the damage inflicted. Also, the blind is actually one of the few status effects I find is actually half decent. It has saved me a few times. It's just a big flash of nonsense. I can't really tell who's taken what. It's just not very clear. I also think that, I mean, as much as I don't like being able to hover over and know what each one means, I just wish I had them like laid out next to each other. When they're like going through that quick, it's a bit awkward to figure out what's going on. Again, the games occasionally be a bit overly flashy, so it's very easy to miss information. Go. Just finish clawing you to death. And I was thinking, like, more disposable cheap items would be good, because, well, if it means that if the enemies drop them, you won't be so worried about using them. Disavow, you're going to resist anyway, it's fine. Oh no, it's weakness on these ones, my bad. But still, I hit it with a weakness, and it did as about less damage than our dog boy over there did with his normal attack. Just because he hits twice. And here we go. Same again. We're going to start with blinding one of them. However, when you get this many, it's worth using Dancing Sorrow afterwards just to hit everybody. This is just so good, the Balefire. It's like, I do damage to them, doesn't matter, it's 2 random foes, don't care, it's free damage, but it's the MP regeneration. And then you have Raven Guard, which is a heal by a small amount, but it's only a small shield on top. And that small shield, while it's a bit useless in the later areas, at the start can make you practically invulnerable. At least on normal it can. On this mode, well, not so much. Just wish Surprise Slash actually was, you know, worth anything. It's quite expensive, but that was a weak hit, and that was pathetic. It doesn't do enough damage. It really doesn't. But then again, I've been saying that about everything in this game. Oh look, there we go. Aggro means absolutely nothing in this game. Really doesn't. Absolutely pointless. Absolutely freaking pointless, because they'll just go for whoever they damn want, and it's always my goddamn healer who actually has the ability to raise the dead later. It was so annoying when I was going against the final boss, and every single attack, doesn't matter how much I got aggro for the other two, how much it was maxed out, he just ignored it. Either went for hits everyone moves, or always went for Peter. Now, what I'm thinking is in the future, don't select Peter in the middle, because there's lots of enemies that hit 2 people next to one another. So having your healer in the middle is actually a kind of thing that's really bad for you. And not that the game lets you know this at any point. It's just something I've learned and observed in the last 2 times I played through. I just forgot to pick him first instead of like second, just out of habit. Going through the columns, picking them in that order. And again, I want to give the game compliments. The music's nice. I like the little sprites for the characters over here. Enemy sprites are a bit lackluster, but oh well. It's got some nice ideas for the characters and what their themes are. But the problem is, I don't particularly like the artwork. I don't particularly like the gameplay. And I don't particularly like the writing, so again, it's like, what can I do? And yeah, and the writing thing is I'm starting to hate the fact that I have to talk to the characters to gain stat buffs, because going through some of them, it's a lot of the characters are cliches, but not really charming cliches, so after you've seen their story once, it just becomes a chore to just sort of hammer through it every time. Oh, for God's sakes! Look at that! And I'm going to keep complaining about this. Look at this! I have Taunt up, I have maxed out Fret. But no, they always go for my goddamn healer. Every goddamn time. It's a useless mechanic. And it's the fact that the enemies do so much stupid amount of damage, even when I've got armour on. You know, I've paid for the good armour, and put defense up moves up. What the hell do you want me to do? There is no way of actually improving other than leveling, which does sod all, and it takes forever to do. Oh, well, this is supposed to improve it, but... you know what, just go on the Shadow Beast. And I don't even know what these guys do. I really don't. There we go. I got kind of lost where I was there for a second. Yeah, it's just, you get thrown with so much thrown at you in terms of attacks, and everything goes so quickly, which is on the slowest battle animations, mind you. And so much flashing and all that going on. I just said it earlier. You cannot make plans because you can't see what your opponents are either sodding doing to you because it's all lost in the mess of special effects. Just makes me wish for the days of when you had a little text box listing all the things that were happening. But look at this! Look at this! What the hell could I do against that? I guess I'm supposed to be using all these items up now. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to be just spamming jingle bells. Again, it's just not how I'm used to playing. And it does feel like, you know, when it's been tested for difficulty and stuff like that, someone's gone, I know exactly what all these guys do, I know exactly how hard they hit, I know, and just has played it through, playing it in a very particular play style of tactics, which is probably spamming jingle bells constantly, using all your money on them, which honestly might be a winning goal here, because it is quite powerful for a quite cheap item. But then again, if you're spamming like items constantly, then what's the point of having all these shield abilities on your characters? It's like, I feel like the shield abilities should be scaled to their level, like their stats, like 75 plus, you know, a magic stat or intelligence stat divided by something. Because, again, your moves just do not scale. And here is, I should have looked at my mana. I thought I had MP enough to do Beast Force and hit everybody. Yeah, just completely ignore that threat. Just keep ignoring threat then. I'll catch up with you in a bit. This is going to be soul destroying.